and welcome back to Beyond the School Gate. For those of you who are new around here, my name is Ruth, and I started this podcast to amplify the voices of women in leadership, to talk about what we do beyond the school gate, the good, the bad, and the funny. I have a special guest again, you know.
Woo!
Please introduce yourself.
I'm Ahmed, I'm the husband.
Woohoo! I decided to do a little bit of a mini series and have Ahmed as a special guest on the podcast. We always have these deep and meaningful conversations about like things at work or things people have said or things we've seen online or something that are based on things that touch most leaders. So I thought it'd be really fun to kind of invite you along to one of our general conversations. The thing about us, we talk.
The thing about us.
Facts, innit?
I swear.
We will talk. We will talk.
Yeah. But we get to a good conclusion.
We do, don't we?
Yeah.
And what I love is like a lot of the time we don't have the same views on things,
No.
but we'll be able to find some common ground. Or we'll just be like, yeah, no, I don't agree, but I respect your opinion.
Yeah. And that's what I think that's what conversation should be.
Yeah.
It should be people talking, regardless of whether you agree with them or not, is listen to my point, I'll listen to yours. And see if you can find common ground. And if you can't, that's absolutely fine as well. Just go your separate ways and you keep thinking what you're thinking and the other person keeps thinking what they're thinking.
And I think that's probably why we don't argue as well. Do you know what I mean? So today's topic is, have you ever felt afraid in a job?
Yes.
Tell me about it.
No. I feel afraid, especially when I start that job.
Oh, okay.
And I'll be afraid in the job for at least 6 months to a year.
Really?
Yeah.
And what does that afraid feel like?
Just constantly fearful that somebody's gonna come in and tell me that I'm doing something wrong, or see that I'm doing something wrong, or see that I'm you talked about it in one of your episodes, the
Imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome. As a teacher, coach, fine. I can go in front of kids and I can, juggle the ball and do whatever I need to do. That's absolutely fine. But once I stepped out from being a teacher and I became an executive teacher, I now have to be the leader of a team. There was fear there, like constantly. As in, fear because you were in that role and now you're not, now you're in this role. Are you going to be looked at as an imposter? Are you going to be looked at as...
That's so interesting.
So it's that kind of fear rather than fear of being able to do my job. Like, I know I can do the job, that's no problem. It's
view of opinion.
It's more that,
Because I think stereotypically, and maybe it's because this podcast is more focused on women in leadership, so I've always looked at it from that lens. I feel like I've spoken to a lot of other women leaders about imposter syndrome, but I don't think I've ever heard from a man their view on it. So that's like, I didn't think we would cover that topic off.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I've constantly.
Even now, or?
Not as much, like in this job now, not as much.
Okay.
But some of the fear that I feel is it's around my ideas as well. Like something that I think, oh, okay, this will be a really good tool or really good idea to you pitch it and you hope it lands. But the difficulty is that you don't know if it's going to land. So you fear, or I have the fear of pitching that idea.
But what's the worst thing that can happen in that environment is that it doesn't land. What's bad about that? It didn't land, okay.
That is the bad thing.
Oh, that's the bad thing.
Yeah, it didn't
land, okay.
Yeah. Because you spent time thinking about it. You've spent time like going over it and you can see how it works in your head, but nobody else can.
Yeah, right.
So that is a fear for me.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah. But not that it stops me. I still pitch it anyway.
Yeah.
I say, look, this is, if you want to hear my idea, this is my idea.
Yeah.
But the fear is always there before I deliver it.
So is it like it will like people will discuss it and be like, oh no, I don't think that's the right thing, or you'll pitch it and then it's not even acknowledged?
More that this is not the right thing.
Ah, okay.
Not necessarily that. I think it's acknowledged because people would listen to you pitching it, so it's been acknowledged and it's been listened to. For me, it's more about that I've spent that time thinking about it, but again, you know, everyone's brain works differently. So what I see as it's not how somebody else is going to see it.
You said there was a time element attached to it, and you said like 6 to 12 months. What happens after that 6 to 12 months then? You don't feel the fear of something not landing?
It's there, but I feel like I've banked a lot of good ideas.
Oh,
so
okay.
Because I've banked a lot of good ideas,
one that misses isn't the end of the world.
It's not the end of the world, and also people are more willing to go with the idea that I'm proposing, willing to try it out to see, because
you got a track record.
Because there's a track record.
Okay, I hear that.
I think it's just about keep throwing ideas in there.
Just keep going. Because that was going to be my next advice: is if somebody was listening to this and they have felt afraid in a job, be it it's their first job or not, or they're moving up the ladder, or they've stepped across into a different technical space, what would your advice to them be?
Keep pitching ideas, whether or not you feel that it's been accepted, and that idea might not bear fruit now, but it will come back later on.
Okay.
Sometimes you have to go around and come back to that original idea.
That often happens.
Yeah. And in your mind, you're just like, oh, for goodness sake, like, we could have done this like 5 months ago or 10 years ago, you know, but that's the journey it needed to take to come back for everybody to feel like,
So it was a train going to collect people.
Yes.
So they're all on the same journey.
Everybody is on the same journey. And each person needs to feel like their idea has been listened to as well. Or they need to be able to see how their idea is reflected in what you're pitching as well.
Okay.
Because a lot of the times, like especially things that I think up, I'm always thinking, okay, so how would that person, what would that person need? What would that person need? What would that person need? Okay. These are my 3 key players within this. So when I make this thing or when I do this thing, it needs to have these 3 elements.
Yeah, right.
Or these 4 elements.
So it's quite a strategic approach to how you pitch.
Yeah, I mean, for example, we had a data system. Since I got there, I haven't heard great things about it.
It was something that like already exists. Like
it already existed. It was there already, and there weren't too many great things said about it.
Yeah, okay.
It's just, it felt like, oh, well, we have to do it because, eventually I was like, well, why don't we just change it?
Yeah.
And then I was thinking about all the conversations I've had about it and thinking, okay, what do those conversations, how would they be reflected in that, in that data system? And then I changed it. But that took like 3 years.
Yeah, okay.
So it took 3 years, and first of all, you get that knocked back as it again. Hence why I, the fear is I've listened to your conversations. I've listened to this thing is not good. I've proposed something new, and then there's a initial, well, no, because it means that we'll have to change.
And I quite like whinging about this thing.
So, but once the change happened and people were able to actually see their thoughts in, it's like, oh, well, I like visual. Okay, great. It's got visual because you've got all these colors in there that tells you who's struggling and who's outstanding. Great. Okay. Oh, well, I like pie charts. Excellent. There's a pie chart here which gives you very quickly, as a whole school, as a year group, as there's snapshots everywhere. So by the time I was able to then explain those 4 camps. They were just like, okay, this makes so much sense.
So it's like analysing, scanning, looking at what's important for people, and making sure in your pitch you're covering off something that's important to them, to influence, to get that buy-in, to reduce the opportunity for that suggestion to be shut down.
I could have said that. Yeah.
I just want to make sure I've understood correctly, because that's useful for me in a work environment. Not my day job, but the podcast stuff that I do. That's quite helpful for me.
You put it so succinctly.
I'd never connected the dots like that before. No.
And that all starts from the fear that I have at work. Yeah.
So it has like a time and a place, right? And also it sounds like it has a positive outcome at the end some of the time, maybe not all of the time. And also I think sometimes from what you've said, it sounds like the pitch then gets the opportunity to change, and you have multiple iterations. So what actually comes out of the end is better than the initial pitch, because you've done all of this thinking and building and designing and developing to influence. So the actual end thing is actually better than maybe
it initially started.
Interesting. Okay. So your advice to somebody that would be feeling afraid would be just keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it.
Keep going.
Okay.
Keep going, and I guess that kind of outside of work, but work, like for example, YouTube is something that we started as a family, but it got to a point where we couldn't find out what our thing was, because we don't want to do, we're not a reaction channel, but we're not also a ASMR channel.
And we also don't have babies, so we're not doing like small baby and small children, and like family channels like that. We've got adult and teenage kids.
So it's like, just that, and then there's a fear of, okay, I don't want to stop this thing because I actually love doing this thing. So what do I do with it? So I have that type of fear as well. So it's then, okay, just do bits and pieces.
True. So somebody may not have fear in their day job, but they could have fear in their side hustle. Because their day job, so for some people, that's where they're the technical expert, that's where they're the specialist, so they don't have that fear, but they could be going to uni, like going back to study, or have a side hustle and they're nervous and afraid and feel like an imposter. Especially if it's something that they've never done before, like this podcast stuff, or like social media or YouTube stuff. We haven't done that before. So somebody could be in a similar environment and feel that that's the thing that they're scared of, and your advice would be the same? It
will be the same. And for me as well, like now, that keep going mentality, and as much as, we haven't filmed a video in ages.
We're filming tomorrow.
I've still been able to put out content. It may not be what I have in my head at the moment, but it's the Dory syndrome. Just keep swimming. Keep going. Eventually you will see it will become a bit clearer. It will be different. And it won't be what you thought it was going to be at the beginning. So you have to go with that and punch fear in the face.
That's aggressive.
Be aggressive with fear. Punch fear in the face. Just meaning, just go out there and just do it. And keep doing it until you become good at doing that thing. And when you do become good at doing that thing, you will start seeing results.
Absolutely. And at the very least, you've learned a new skill. Like we always talk about the podcast and the YouTube stuff, and it's like, keep doing it because you enjoy it, do it. But at the end of the day, if you end up stopping it, or you don't enjoy it anymore, you've learnt new skills, you've learnt how to edit, you've learnt all of these marketing skills, all of these things, getting sponsorships, you've learnt new skills that you can use in other areas of your life. I like that advice of just keep going.
Keep swimming.
Well, thank you, Ahmed. It's been so good having you on the podcast.
It's been great to be here.
You spoke about the YouTube channel, so if people want to find our family YouTube channel, where do they go?
They go to Jallows in Canberra on YouTube.
And we'll link it down below just for ease for people. And over there you get to see kind of our shenanigans, what we do as a family. You get to see the kids, our daughter a little bit less because she's moved back to London, but our son, also like what we get up to. Trying to start a community over here. So please, if you do have a couple of minutes, just pop some comments down in the comment section below. Let us know what you think. Have you ever felt afraid in a job? What did you do to overcome that fear? Don't underestimate that comments like that in the comment section can help people that you may not even know. So if you do have some kind of words of wisdom, I think that you could help loads and loads of people. What are your tips if you've ever felt afraid within the workplace? And we will see you in the next one. Bye.